This is the video for lesson 8, and I do want to remind you of two of the most important things we've been going over this week. First, the word of in math means multiply many times, and the words is in math can often mean equals. And we're going to keep using the percent equation for the next couple of days yet. The percent times the base equals the part, or percent of the total will equal part of the total. All right, so keep this in mind as we move to our first example problem. 64 is 32% of what number? I know that is often means equals and of means multiply. The 64 I can just drop straight down. Is means equal. Now before you drop the 32% down, you cannot do math with a percentage. We need to convert this to a decimal first. In order to convert to a decimal, you just move the decimal over 2 spaces left, and this becomes 0.32. What number here is an unknown that I can represent with any variable I want? But I'm going to use b because I know from the percent equation that percent times base equals part. So 64 must be the part, 32 is the percent, and the base in this case is unknown. Now, how are we going to solve this equation? Well, if we want to get b by itself on the right side of the equal sign, we need to move this 0.32 over to the left side of the equal sign. Whenever you want to move a term over, you'd always do the opposite of the operation you see. This currently is a multiplication problem. So if I want to move the 0.32 over, I need to do division. This is what that looks like. 64 equals 0.32 times base. I'm going to divide by 0.32. 0.32 divided by 0.32, those cancel each other out. If you divide by 0.32 on the right side of the equal sign, you have to also divide by 0.32 on the left side of the equal sign to keep the equation balanced. Now b is isolated all by itself on the right side, equals, and if I do this division problem, I'll have my answer. So let's do some division. The top number always gets to live inside the nice house, and the bottom number sleeps out on the porch. Now before I start dividing, I have to always divide by a whole number. I'll need to move this decimal point over 2 spaces to make it a whole 32, and move this invisible decimal point over 2 spaces as well. So rewriting this is now 6,400 divided by a whole 32. So I know that 32 can fit into 64 exactly 2 times. 32 times 2 is 64. Okay, but the decimal point is way back here, and I have to fill in these blanks. 32 fits into 0 0 times, and 32 fits into 0 0 times. Now I'm done with the division, and I know my base. 200. Okay, so 64 is 32% of 200. Or if you got a 64 out of 200 on a test, that would be a 32%. Not very good. That's an F. Okay. Now again today, I'm going to allow you guys to use a calculator to help you out with some of this division work. However, I do need to see this translation work here. I want to see you translate is into equals. I want to see you rewrite 32% as 0.32. I want to see you translate of into times. Okay. And I also do want to see your solving work. In order to move 0.32 to the left side of the equal sign, I had to divide by 0.32 on the left. Those cancel. Also divide by 0.32 on the right. This is the work I want to see. But from that point, I'm okay with you guys using a calculator to do 64 divided by 0.32. And we get the same answer we got doing the problem by hand. On your assignment today, you're going to see some real life problems. There are 22 students absent. If this is 11% of the student population, then what is the total school population? Okay, since this is a percent problem, I'm going to use the percent equation to help me start writing my math problem. Now, first I want to fill in a number for percent. Clearly, since 11 has a percent sign by it, I can plug in 11 for P. Remember though, before you plug in 11%, you have to change this to a decimal number. 11% as a decimal number is 0.11. Okay. The other number I'm given in my problem is a 22, and I'm wondering, wait, does 22 get plugged in for base, or does 22 get plugged in for part? Let's read the problem carefully. The final question is, what is the total school population? That's our unknown. How many kids are in the school total? Now looking back at the percent equation, remember, B, the base, is the total, the whole amount. So our unknown is the total. That means we do not know B. We can leave it as a variable. 22 is the part that we plug in for A. Part of the school population is absent. Now, to solve this problem, we want to get B all by itself on the left side of the equals. So it says B equals answer. In order to get B isolated, we have to get rid of this times 0.11. The opposite of timesing is dividing by 0.11. 0.11 divided by 0.11, that cancels each other out. If you divide by 0.11 on the left side, you have to divide by 0.11 on the right side of the equal sign to keep the equation balanced. Now B is by itself isolated on the left side, and if I do this division, I'll know the answer. 22 divided by 0.11 is 200. So that means there's 200 students total in the school, and 22 of them are absent. Again, on every single problem, I must see this work, but you are free to do the division work on a calculator.